The crypto market is absolutely massive with thousands and thousands of crypto projects available to trade at any one time. And if you're looking to invest or trade or anything like that, it can be a bit daunting trying to figure out which projects are the best projects to put your money into to give yourself the best kind of returns over time. So, this is what we're going to go through today in this video and give you a few pointers about what you can actually look for when looking for projects to actually invest your money in over the long term. And welcome back to the channel, everyone, with myself, David, Millionaire Incorporated. I hope you've all been well. Hope you're making progress in generating greater wealth for yourself, generational wealth for yourself and your family and future family, and that things that you're learning over time are being implemented and you're being successful with it. As you know, guys, I like to touch on topics of personal finance, wealth, and personal development. And in this video, as I said, I'm going to go through things to kind of look for and things to think about when investing in the crypto market and what I look for when investing in tokens and coins for the longer term. Now, as always, guys, remember as well, this is not personal financial advice. This video is literally just here for educational purposes only. So if you do need professional financial advice or personal financial advice, go seek out a professional financial advisor. So let's jump into it. So as I was saying, everyone, there are thousands of projects in the crypto market space at the moment, and they're all presenting themselves with different kinds of opportunities, different kind of solutions to different problems worldwide. And that task of filtering through all those projects can be very, very daunting. So we always want to be looking at certain tricks or tips and things we can, or strategies we can implement. And the reason we want to do this is we want to give ourselves the greatest opportunity of being successful over the long term, because if we're going to be putting our money into some kind of investments, we want to be getting some kind of return from that, which will be outpacing the market and giving or growing our wealth over time. And the reason why we have to do a bit of this kind of research is because not all coins or tokens are created equal. Some will perform much better than others, some won't move at all, and some will just completely die, especially if you're investing in it at the wrong time. So it's remember as well, guys, it's always very important to do your own research. And you also have to make sure you have a plan for yourself so that you can become more successful over time with your investments and wealth creation projects. So even if this is in crypto or in the stock market, property, or whatever it is, you always want to have some kind of plan so that you can actually kind of work towards it so that you actually end up ahead. And one of the biggest things that people don't actually understand when it comes to crypto, not just looking at the tokens or the coins itself, is how the actual market or where the money flows in the market itself. So as you can see here, I've just kind of outlined that initially money flows or it gets invested in Bitcoin and ETH because that's the two biggest projects on the market at the moment. And most people are in love with their narratives and want to have their money invested in this. Now, with Bitcoin, it's also considered a digital form of gold. So, gold is usually a store of wealth and value where most other things are based upon. So, that's why Bitcoin tends to be the largest and most traded and invested of the cryptocurrencies. Ethereum being the second largest cryptocurrency, a lot of people would like to try invest in ETH and hold some kind of ETH over time or trade it and play with it a little bit. And then from there, the money starts moving down or trickling down from those top two to kind of like the big caps or the top 10 crypto projects with market cap. So like the larger alt smart contract plays like Binance, Solana, DOT, ADA, XRP, etc. And then from there, money kind of goes into the mid to low cap and micro cap projects based on these. And more than not, most those projects which have the biggest pumps or which those mid to low cap crypto tokens are built on a smart contract ecosystem, kind of like so Binance is its own ecosystem, Solana is its own kind of smart contract ecosystem, Polkadot, ADA, and so people are always looking out for projects based on these major plays, major projects. So from here, we want to try and start developing some kind of plan for ourselves so that we can actually look at coins and tokens so that we can put our money towards investing it the most effectively, because money will continuously kind of work around in a cycle in this. So we'll kind of go from Bitcoin to Ethereum to the larger alt cap smart contract plays to the smaller to mid cap, smaller to low to mid cap smart contract ecosystems, and then back around. So as one pumps, as it gets like 1, 2, 3x, whatever it is, people will start selling off, dump it, and roll it into the next one. So they're kind of continuously pumping their money up over the long term. So that's what most people try and do, or what the ecosystem will do as well. And one thing to remember as well is you also got to kind of have an idea of what you actually want to achieve from your money and what you want to achieve for yourself over time. Are you investing in a project for the long term, or are you just trying to make a quick buck? If you're trying to make a quick buck, this can be a very daunting and scary endeavor, because the crypto market does move quite quickly, and it can go through some major pumps and dumps where you can be going up hundreds of percent, then down 60, 70, 80% overnight just as quickly, as we've probably all seen recently with Bitcoin and the entire crypto market itself. So we always want to try and start kind of thinking about things in that sense so that you can give yourself a bit more of a edge when it comes to investing and trading. Obviously, if some of these larger market cap smart contract play projects have pumped, or they've been dumped, it also gives you a great opportunity to kind of get back in and kind of dollar cost average into those tokens, so you can actually accumulate more for yourself as they build and increase their market caps over time. So what I look for when I look at trading or investing in crypto projects, I look for major or up and coming smart contract plays. So looking at, like, say, Ethereum, Binance, ADA, Solana, Polkadot, and things like that. And it also depends on what kind of tech it's built into those ecosystems. So with one of them, Solana, for instance, at the moment, its narrative and its tech is amazing, that it's going to be one of the fastest crypto chains available. So it can actually process, I think, 60,000 transactions per second, which is absolutely monstrous at this time, because Ethereum can only handle about 15 transactions per second, which is making it a very sluggish, very slow smart contract play at the moment. So that's why kind of people are looking at other major plays where they can actually make a decent amount of money when they put their money and invest it into it. So at the time of this, I think Ethereum's got a market cap of about $200 to $300 billion, whereas Solana is only around the 30 to 40 billion dollar market cap. And so you can already see there it can actually go up 10x. So you can already 10x your money, especially if you're holding it long term. Now, if it goes up through pumps and dumps, depending on how long this current bull run is going to go for, or if we're going to be entering a super cycle, or if we're going to be entering a bear market, you can actually either pick up some more, especially as it dumps, and start accumulating your token pool so that over time you can actually increase more. Then from there as well, what you can look for is the surrounding ecosystem projects linked to that smart contract play, such as the DEXs, the Oracles, the wallets, the swappers, DeFi, and the list goes on. NFTs as well, although I'm not the biggest fan of NFTs because the market is quite saturated and people still don't understand what an NFT is or how it actually works, which, in saying that, it can actually present itself as a decent opportunity so you can actually get your money in early before people kind of start getting a better understanding of what's actually happening in that kind of market. Another thing which I'm looking for is that large volumes are being traded in comparison to its market cap. And also you can look at it with if it's got very little price movement. So if it's having a lot of volume being traded with very little price movement of the actual token, it means that over time it will start pumping higher, because it's a bit of like a lot of upward pressure where it's kind of more and more money's getting driven into the actual project itself. And then if the price isn't going up, eventually it's got to give and it's got to fly. So that's something I look for. But in saying that as well, if you're going to be trading it, you just want to look for projects which do have a reasonable amount of volume being traded, because that makes it getting into and out of or liquidating positions, if you need to liquidate a position, quite easy. And then, as well as that, you also want to make sure the max supply of that coin isn't too excessive, because if it's over the top, say with Shiba Inu having like 1 quadrillion tokens, which is literally 1,000 trillion tokens, it means that if it got to a cent, its market cap would be in the order of like $1 trillion, which in this current form, or I don't see it ever going to that kind of level, that kind of market cap. So I think, especially those meme coins, are just absolute pieces of shit and shouldn't be touched at all. Because when investing, you want to be looking for the longer term, and you want projects which will give you a better risk reward and better long term prospect of success. So that's why I say stick to those smart contract plays with good tech, good narrative. The surrounding ecosystem is up and running. As well as that, you want to make sure that it is what a lot of these projects are going to be doing now, is making sure that they're fast with low cost of transactions. So I actually did a video on Solana and Polkadot, because I think those two are actually really good projects up and coming, which will provide for great investments over the long term. And also did one of my top 4 favorite alternate smart contract plays. So definitely check out those videos. I'll leave links to those below, so you can actually click on those and have a look. Now, when it comes to actually trading crypto, it's a slightly different scenario to actually investing in crypto. But I usually approach it with a very similar kind of mindset or approach to what I look for. So remember, guys, when investing, it's not for a short time period, whereas trading for me tends to be a much shorter time frame. So investing, I look at investments for like years on end, not necessarily just for a couple of hours, couple of days, or a couple percent. Whereas with trading, that's what I do. I look for trades which are going to actually make a couple percent or 100x, 200x, 300x in a very short period of time without risking too much of my money. So you want to be making sure that when you do trade cryptos, the only kind of trading in projects which you would invest in over the long term, so it has to fit your long-term investment criteria. Because if you get caught out on the wrong side of a trade, and you don't want to kind of close your position quickly, which is something you need to do if you're actually just trading it, especially if you're going to use leverage. And I highly suggest do not use leverage. I think it's one of the stupidest things you could do in the crypto market. And that's how a lot of people are losing a lot of money, because they get liquidated and they can't hold their positions long term where the project might be good. So, yeah, so when it comes to in trading crypto, like I said, you want to have that be invested or trading crypto projects which you do have a long-term overview or outlook on the actual token itself. You don't want to kind of be just trading Shiba Inu or something stupid where one day it could go up 100, 200, 300%, next day it could go down equally as much, kind of thing. And if you bought at the top, you're going to be holding on to literally something which is completely worthless, and potentially it won't go up over time. Now, I have been invested in crypto since the previous bull run back in 27 with my brother, and we actually have a few coins in Tron, Red, and a whole bunch of other projects. And unfortunately, we did actually buy in at the top. And with this current bull run, which just kind of has had a breather from recently, we were in the positive finally for the first time in 4 years. And I think my brother had an outlook on the actual market itself where it could actually still 10x what we actually made and go up to here or go up to there, which I don't think it's going to actually do. But we're now holding the coins again at 50% of what we actually bought it in for. So same thing again. Now we've got to kind of sit on those projects without kind of being able to kind of utilize that money for any other kind of investments or other trading. So like I said, when trading, which is what I do by myself, I don't actually do that with my brother. Like I said, I have a much shorter time frame when looking at the projects and only trade projects which do have a lot of upside potential. So, like the Solanas, like the Kaadas, and their surrounding ecosystems, which one of my favorite tokens to trade is actually Serum. Very nice, clean charts. Um, it still has a lot of room to actually grow, and it will actually grow with the Solana ecosystem because it is a DEX for Solana built on the Solana chain. And as a result, you can actually make money just by trading it, buying low, selling high, going in and out. And I'll go over some what to look for with trading at another date. I'm still kind of finalizing my own personal strategy, which I will share with you eventually. I just want to try and make sure it's right, it's consistent, and I can actually compound it over time. But same thing again with crypto trading itself, you have to create a plan that makes sense to you and that you can stick to. So when trading, you have to be strict with yourself. You can't just be, oh, it's all right. I'll hold it for another couple of percent before getting out, or hold it for another couple of percent before I take profit. Because if it doesn't reach that, say you wanted 30% or 40% and it's kind of hit 30% and it's kind of floating, you think, oh, I can keep going higher, keep going higher, keep going higher. All of a sudden floats, and just tanks. Then you're going to be stuck with holding that investment again. But in saying that, same thing, like I mentioned, if you've invested or traded um, projects which you are passionate about and that you see having a very favorable long-term outlook, then it doesn't necessarily matter as much. But at the same time, you might be stuck with that for a few years instead of a couple of days or a couple of months. And same thing as well with trading, guys. Don't forget, only trade money that you're willing to lose. So I hope these little tips and tricks which I look for when investing in crypto and trading crypto is useful. As always, guys, don't forget, smash that like button, subscribe to my channel so I know you actually enjoyed this content, and I'll catch you guys again on the next video.